live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
On to the real.
Yeah.
So this young man, I would have to say, I have to start off with this, is a former player. I mean, is a former player from my former team, the Washington
They are not
Redskins.
a former team.
Yeah, because the Washington football team and this mess that's going on in DC right now, or Virginia or Maryland, depending on where they practice in the plan, is I'm not a part of that no more. I've been delivered. I'm going to find a suitable team for my needs going forward. But to talk about this young man, Darrel Young, who is currently the director of player development for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
He was in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, was kind of a pillar in our community. He was a starter at fullback, but he did a lot of stuff in the community, whether it be like book bag drives. I don't know where he's from originally, but he kind of made himself, you know what I'm saying, a figure in the DC metro area. And so to see him, you know, I hadn't kept up with him since he retired, but to see him kind of resurface in a position like this one, director of player development, is awesome. And he's doing this position with aspirations of becoming the general manager. And I think that's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
For someone like him, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things that we said that we wanted to see more players, more Black players, you know, in these key positions, in these positions of influence, you know.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't want to rain on this by saying that we still need to see some of these people in ownership,
of course,
but to see someone like him be in this position is really truly awesome to see. So shout out to Darrel Young.
Absolutely.
You know, what did you think when you saw this?
Oh, I was elated because I love his attitude. When I read this, I love his attitude. I think that your statement about him like immersing himself in the community when he was in DC was he epitomizes, I think, what we want to see every athlete, the mindset we want to see every athlete have. And that is, I know that there's more than the sport. And so he was already kind of positioning himself in those moments while he was playing to get into place where he could be in this position. He spent the last 3 or 4 years working for the NFL. So just putting himself in the right places and not having the mindset that once this is over, I don't know what I am, or I'm nothing, or I gotta go into coaching, or I gotta do this, or, you know, like not putting himself in a box, but saying I have aspirations. Even as a player, he had aspirations of where he's headed. So I love that he was this is why we do what we do, right? We want to see them all have this mindset. This young man's mindset is what we're looking to help all of these young people have. Like, I got real dreams and like, you know what I mean? So kudos to him, shout out. If you happen to see this, hit me up. Because I would love, listen, the Steelers are anybody who watches or listens to us knows, the Steelers are my other team, right?
Alternate team.
They are my team. And so I would absolutely love the opportunity to do some work from a certified coaching standpoint, and whether that be life coaching, transition coaching, spiritual coaching with this team.
Yeah.
And you, as the director of player development, are the person that can make this happen. And I would love to do this with you from the standpoint of you're making a name for yourself in this league, in this role, and to be able to help you do that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Would be amazing. I would be honored.
So somebody get this to him. Somebody who listens or watches, get this to him and hit us up, bro. Hey, we're gonna put the email address and all our socials at the end of this recording. So please get that information to him, please, if you can get it.
Yeah, I would love that. That'd be awesome. But kudos to him. Either way, I'm just happy that he's in this space, in this place. Somebody who's been through it, knowing exactly what they need is exactly what makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good stuff.
All right, feel good final thought.
Yeah.
Now, we had this on the docket for last week. You know, and for those of you who listen to us, we routinely, like, especially if somebody passes in sports, you know, make sure that we speak about them. So we hope that you guys didn't listen and say, hey, they ain't even mentioned, you know, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
But we
not gonna happen.
Huh?
Not gonna happen. That we would not.
Yeah. No. But we wanted this to be a feel good final thought because Bill Russell has been just such a staple for the NBA and just a ambassador for the game for so many years. Actually, no, we did talk about him last week.
Briefly.
We just, we spoke about his passing, but we just didn't, you know, extend this feel good final thought because we were holding it for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill Russell's number, his number 6, will be retired. So all of the players who have it now, they'll be grandfathered into this. But when they leave the game or when they change their number, because I'm sure that some of them are going to change their number just out of respect.
Right.
Nobody else in the NBA is going to wear the number 6.
Yeah, every team is retiring this number.
Yeah.
And I think that's very dope.
Yeah.
It's such an appropriate honor for somebody who did so much for the game.
Yeah.
That he would get this, that he would be the one to receive this honor, that every team is going to retire the same number. And I just love it. I love it.
I think it's befitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
absolutely.
know, I think that obviously probably one of the most recognizable NBA player in the history of the game is Michael Jordan.
Right.
But I think that when we think about this league and its foundations, you know, you can't mention the NBA without Bill Russell.
You cannot.
So this honor is definitely fitting for him.
Absolutely.
So God rest your soul.
Yes.
Bill
rest in peace, King, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, show picks. What you watching?
So I'm embarrassed to say it, but I can't help it. There's this little teenagey kind of show that I love. This is season 3 that just came out. It's called Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
And it's really cute. It's one of those things I like to do sometimes mindless TV.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of one of those, it doesn't evoke emotion. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't make me think. I can just watch it for the entertainment value of the show about these little teenagers in their life. And it's just cute. And so I watched the first 2 seasons of it, was excited when I saw that season 3 was out. That's what I did. I've been watching Never Have I Ever.
Okay. So I'm a need for when I mention the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you not to look at me with that side eye that you're doing right now.
You know why? Because that evokes emotion for me. Maybe that's why.
I can see why. It does for me too.
It evokes emotion for me. So it can't fall in that category for me because, I walk away feeling some kind of way. So it's evoking something. So
I do too, but I think that even with the drama that is associated with it, I think that a lot of the positives that I take away from some of the more positive cast members is kind of some of the things that I hang my hat on. Okay. So even its mindlessness, to see a Candy Burris kind of continuing to like expand and grow and be one of the few people on this show who is actually from Atlanta and has been in Atlanta
her whole life.
Yep. And has created her lane. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
You know.
Yes.
She's the reason why
recreated and recreated. Yeah, basically
100 times over. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So shout out to her because, like, she's moving.
Okay. All right, no judgment. Go ahead.
All right. I'm sorry. We spent our time on that. That wasn't even my show. So my show is the Murder Inc. documentary. And if you were a fan of hip hop in the late 90s, early 2000s, you have to know about Murder Inc., Irv Gotti, and Ja Rule. And I think this gives some good insight on kind of what happened to them, where they went, you know, their origins, and kind of just, you know, where they went wrong.
Okay.
So I think that if you haven't seen it yet, you know, being a fan of hip hop.
Yeah.
And maybe even not being necessarily a fan of them and their music, but just some of the people that they've touched. Like, you know, episode 2 kind of talked about J-Lo and some of the records that
Jenny from the block back then.
Talked a little bit about, you know, how Murder Inc. was kind of able to resurrect her career in a way.
Absolutely.
You know, with a couple of smash hits. And so just even hearing the stories about that, even if you aren't a fan of them, you know, was definitely eye-opening. So
okay. Cool.
Definitely check that out.
All right.
But we are at the end of another one.
Yes.
Episode 174.
Yeah.
We are precisely 26 episodes away from our 200th episode, which is crazy to think about. It's funny. I want to say Jack asked me the other day. He was like, "You guys did 172 episodes." I was like, "Yeah."
Like Tarn got old.
Right.
Oh gosh! Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about being this close to 200.
200. Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Guys out there, if you want to get in touch with us, you can contact us at our email address. That's fieldgoodfinalthought. And to double back around, if somebody can get that information to Darrel Young, we would truly appreciate it. Our Twitter account is at field2therealp1. Our IG, field2therealpodcast. And if you want to reach out to us on Facebook or look at our videos on YouTube, you can look right past Stephanie's head where you see Field to the Real Podcast. No number, the letters T-O, Field to the Real Podcast. Search those on Facebook and YouTube, and we should pop up. On YouTube, go to our videos. We have quite a few of them. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good jazz.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all.
We truly appreciate y'all. We love you guys. We are out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, don't put you know.
Today is too tricky. I'm good.
Yeah.